I'm actually gonna play. So welcome everybody for today's virtual site visit webinar. We're really excited to showcase our 360 immersive site visit, which has multimedia. And our co-hosts and the main venue host today is a Congress Hotel Prague, Clarion from basically on the site. We have Libor S. So how are you, Libor, today?
Well, I'm fine, but those times is very difficult, not only in my professional life, but also in personal life. So I hope we will overcome these bad times as soon as possible, and we'll back in our common business.
Oh, definitely. We all hope that, and luckily we have these remote solutions so that we can still do our venue finding for seasons. Well, I would say Q3 and 4, and then also 22, as we are booking already meetings. So, and then we have Sheila Riikonen from Helsinki, my colleague as well from the Nordics and Baltics. Welcome, Sheila.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's 12 noon in Helsinki, Finland, but I would like to be right now in Prague during summer as well. So just to let you know, we met Libor at the IBTM World Virtual, and just today in Twitter, IBTM actually liked my post that we actually made business right after IBTM, that they are connecting people. And also, I noticed that Clarion Congress Hotel Prague has been a user of Visualizer Visit since many years already. And therefore, we are so happy to have them today with us, joining Anna and me. We have been doing our virtual site visits for about 10, 12 months now, myself including. But I know that Visualizer Site Visit has existed long before I joined 10 months ago. So I'm so excited to be here. We have a webinar flow that we follow, and we do follow a very comprehensive guided tour. So you can just relax out there, the audience, and please ask your questions as we go along. Thank you.
And I would also like to introduce myself. As I mentioned, we are colleagues with Sheila, so thank you very much for highlighting our tools that we've been using also for the past 10 months or so. But yes, I joined the board of Visualizer around 2017 as an advisor, and so having this tool in basically at IBTM, IMEX live events as a presentation tool. But now when the pandemic happened, we started using the same virtual site visit, the 360 presentation, for webinars. So we launched this webinar in March 2020. And then we started immediately inviting properties on just to showcase and really talk about the COVID regulations and the social distancing, all the changes that we have experienced, in the industry. So it's been a really exciting journey last year up to now as well. We are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I would say, because bookings are picking up. We are hopeful that by end of the summer, we will then commence with larger hybrid events and eventually fully live events as well on there. So I'm also happy to announce today that I have accepted yesterday the chair position for MPI's signature event, the World Education Congress. So that means that we are reviewing the material and all the submissions for speakers, the content that will be in that event, later on, actually this year. Hopefully that's going to be a hybrid event, so planning again something exciting. And then also for the 22, so we will be including a lot of new technology in there as well, and really following the trends that our industry has set, and we can really talk about future as well, even here, because we are using a new technology that hopefully everybody will adapt as well. So we can jump onto that virtual site visit that everybody's obviously excitedly waiting for. So let us fly to Prague virtually.
Yeah. Well, Anna is doing the solution on screen, I would just like to welcome our distinguished audience. We have actually event organizers today from Helsinki, Finland, and they are doing business in the Nordics and the whole of Europe. So just personally, welcome to our colleagues from agencies that are working heavily with events. And yeah, the Clarion Congress has been in our RFPs a while back for a couple of years since I joined Helms Briscoe. And today we're going to be showing maybe how we can do a cluster-wide city event. And just to review, we have hosted the Hilton Prague and the Vienna House, and the DMCs from Prague have been here to join us. So everybody in Prague, Czech Republic, is really cooperating to make the city and the country a good destination for Congress.
Exactly. So here we are. We're gonna now move on to our destination today, which is in Prague, and we can talk a little bit about the location first, so that we can orientate. Since our fam trip is looking slightly different this year, for now at least. So Libor, so could you tell us a little bit about the destination? How can we get here? How far is the airport and so?
So, to be honest, we are not located in the city center. Well, our property is located 20 kilometers driving distance from the international airport. So the journey could take about 30 minutes by, let's say, by taxi. But also we are a bit further from the city center. The connection is very easy and very fast because we are connected directly to the metro station. So the journey to the very downtown takes only 10 minutes. So that's why it may be some disadvantage, but we could also take it like advantage, because comparing to our competitors in the very downtown, we have parking spaces. We have 600 parking spaces under the hotel, but it's just like some detail. The locations I already mentioned: 20 kilometers from international airport, 10 minutes by subway from the downtown.
And also there's a mall actually. Sorry.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. We are connected with a small shopping center, Phoenix, when there's a supermarket available and about 80 boutique shops.
Okay, and how is the situation now? Is the hotel's closed, but what about the mall itself? Is that
well, honestly, today, due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, our hotel is unfortunately currently closed. And unfortunately, we are not able now to predict when it will be reopened. For us, because we are such a big hotel, we have 559 rooms, so it's not just a question of government regulations, but also a question of costs. Once we open, or when we open, we will be able to offer accommodation only for business stays, not for the tourists. And we will therefore consider opening as soon as the average occupancy can reach at least, let's say, 5 or 10%, okay?
Yes, and do you also do the buyout? So you do the privatization. Right now, it's something that corporates are they're really considering, is to privatizing hotels. So when you're talking about
have to stay home as a home office, so
exactly, but privatizing as in buyouts for the hotels is something that is actually an attractive option. And if the I would say, if that occupancy, as in the booking of the rooms, will go past 10% for several days, 4 days or so, I guess you would open it in that case. I mean, how many rooms do you have in the hotel?
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
Okay, so privatizing, as in buyout. So there is a client who has a sole exclusivity to the hotel, so there's no other guests.
Okay.
So how many rooms would that mean that they would need to book for, let's say, 4 days, that you would be willing to open? Would you do that for, let's say, later this year, if government allows it and you're still hesitant about opening? Would you allow privatization?
Definitely. I think just 2 times before we sell the whole hotel with full exclusivity. It's of course it's possible, but I don't think we can consider it according to the number of the rooms, but I think also in connection with additional services.
Exactly. So it would be the full event,
Yeah.
I would say, package. Because what we are doing, yeah,
okay.
Sure. I mean, what we're doing as a venue finders, we're identifying also the buyout options, because with the increased health and safety regulations, that is actually something that corporates are also looking for. And it's actually possible in some venues. There are venues that don't do buyouts at all. So it's good that you mentioned last time that you are privately owned, as in 9 hotel group. Is that correct?
Well, to be specific, our hotel belongs to the portfolio CPI Hotels, which operates operating 30 hotels. Not only 9 in Prague, and 30 hotels in total.
Okay, but because you are a part of a independent group, as in a smaller group, that also allows more flexibility when negotiating, because you are not under umbrella of, you know, the bigger entities. So I would assume that it would probably be a bit easier. So that also gives, yeah, that flexibility aspect normally to the providers.
Exactly.
What does the CPI stands for, Libor? If you could just tell us a little bit about your company, the operational entity of CPI. What does a CPI mean?
Well, honestly, there were some smaller companies before the CPI hotels, and I think the main business of CPI hotels begin with the opening of the flagship. I mean, our hotel in 2008.
Great.
Okay.
I noticed that you are getting an awardee shortlisted in 2021 for a best hotel. Can you tell us about that award?
Well, unfortunately, I got this information this morning from my Facebook, because my colleague, marketing manager, just put it on Facebook, and I was excited. Whoa!
Right. Well, we are tuning in.
So, unfortunately, you know, it's also because of these days I'm not as involved as normally in the normal common life of the hotel. So it was the piece of cake of our marketing manager, and I'm very pleased that at least this person who is responsible for this put it to the Facebook and our all the other social networks. So
I mean, that's what we do efficiently as well, is digital marketing. So that's something that when you accepted our invitation to also come and showcase the venue, your hotel, we made sure to also reach about 56,000 event organizers globally. So we're using digital marketing channels and SEO optimization, and also our very specific event professionals channels that we are connected to you know, inform about those destinations that are available for virtual site visits, and you know that all the industry can use actually these tools, so they are open for everybody. And this is something that, you know, when you build this and update this, yeah, our venue finders and event planners, we can actually benefit by planning our events with this. And as you can see here, we talked about this actually on Tuesday as well, is that when we're making larger events, so far they've been more of outdoor events that we've been able to book 600 or 1,000 people. But we've been using actually this layout with slight modifications. So we call it a pizza slice. So this circular shape is quite convenient when you're building those client flows to the event, because the stage is in the middle. Everybody has a view to it, and then you just build those kind of walk paths in each slice, and no one is able to cross to the other slice. So you're basically color coordinated into groups, and just by removing some of the chairs in between, this becomes actually an ideal social distancing setup.
This is an awesome look. I feel like I was in outer space when I look at it. And then when you put the lights that I actually saw, could be red, could be blue, green, then it creates a really strong atmosphere. Tell us more about it.
What type of event have you been using this for example?
Libor, tell us more about this space. This makes me feel like I'm in a galaxy, by the way. It's just a massive, lots of space, and it feels like very friendly to air filter, concerns and so on. And yeah, I would really like us to go through and walk through this space. What is the capacity? Where's the entrance and the exits? How many people could actually fit in during this social distancing norm?
And also in 2022, in case we go back to the max capacity. So we can look at the capacity chart. But first of all, could you tell us a little bit about the...
Okay, so maybe first of all about this picture. I think that this pizza setup, I've never saw it for the need of the Congress. I think it was only need to make this kind of photograph. Oh. Actually, it is the picture from our main Congress hall.
Yes. The Meridian, Zenit, and Nadir.
Our largest Congress hall consists of 3 small halls called Meridian, Zenit, and Nadir. Well, I can remember that last session you asked me about the astronomy and astrology names of our. I think, but it's only interest. Our halls were named by the architect after astronomy and astrology. But I think it was just a question of design, and it didn't matter much. But as a part of their event, a lot of our clients simply renamed these halls to, let's say, main hall, lunch 1, lunch 2. However, I think it can be interesting, but originally, before the reconstruction, because summer 2019, we opened our Congress floor after the complete reconstruction with new design, new technologies. But before this reconstruction, the main lighting in all of our smaller breakout rooms was always styled in the shape of a constellation, according to the whole name. So it was some just interesting point. But let's go back to our largest meeting hall. So it consists of 3 small halls, Meridians and Nadir, and by connecting which we get space up to 1,600 participants. This hall is completely soundproof. Unfortunately, there is no daylight access. On the other hand, we have daylight access in all of our smaller breakout rooms on the 3rd floor. But this main hall is completely soundproof. The capacity, the floor area is 4 times 30 meters, so it's 1,200 square meters. The ceiling height is 8 meters. There is also freight elevator, which is very important, by which we can move cars, for example.
Definitely. Yeah. I can calculate the number of doors by doing the full 360 in this panorama photo that you have, which is an excellent tool for us. And we talked about the flow of the event, how people enter and exit the space is very important at the moment with the COVID regulations.
Yeah,
because
it's
we
very
don't.
valuable because, as
Yeah.
I mentioned, it consists of 3 small halls, and each of these small halls has its own enter.
Exactly. So when you open the whole space to that setup that we looked at earlier, which is very attractive, I would say. I've seen it several times now during the pandemic being used. So it's becoming hugely popular. And in there, it's really crucial to have several doors, because when you are basically partitioning the pizza slice into segments, each segment needs to have its own door in order to be efficient. Outdoors, it works really well. We used it in Germany last summer in July. And of course, outdoors, you don't have any limitations on how people enter that setup. So this space actually is ideal indoors to emulate that same kind of COVID setup. So how about the screens? I can see that there's mounted screen areas in about every 10 meters or so. But how many screens do you have fitted as it comes with the space?
Well, you mean in the main hall, or?
Yeah, in the total, in the whole space when you open it, because we're looking at, in that circular setup, there was 770 as a maximum for normal times. So we can look at it about 300 people during COVID, or maybe 400 max. So how many screens do we get on the sides in this space?
Well, basically there are no screens, and it very depends on client's request. So it's let's say just some additional equipment.
So there is no screens at all in the basic. Okay. So
well, you can see well, there are some glass, I think almost on the top. This is how can I express it? Well, it's interpreter booth or cabin. It's inbuilt interpreter booth.
Yes.
That is really useful to know, Libor, because congresses that involve 1,000 people, over 1,000 people, might really use multilingual services. And with this visualizer visit, I can identify where those interpreters will be seated.
And there's really also, yeah, there's also technology called Interpret, which is available online. So now that we're doing the hybrid versions, we don't need to have the interpreters necessarily on site. We can use that technology, but also it is an important area as a back office or for technicians, even when we're doing the hybrid events, to have this space. So it can be used for a lot of different purposes.
I must say that looking at this visualizer visit, I am very confident. We are booking events at the moment for November and even early October, and specifically in Germany, which can be accessed from Czech Republic as well. I definitely quite optimistic now to plan using a virtual fam trip to go on and make an RFP for those events.
Oh, definitely. We noticed it last year with the clients, actually in 2019, already before COVID, that when we were doing the pitching for venues, that we usually do the shortlisting of about 4 venues. And after that, in the final 4, we'll enter into actual presentation stage, where the client gets to view the options in more detail. And those that had the virtual site visits that we use, we have about 1,500 of them. They were definitely making a bigger impact. So for example, here, you having this, when we are presenting it to our clients, it makes it a lot easier to portray why we are proposing and recommending this.
If I actually want to find out the exact height of this ceiling, can I do that with the I button there on the right, Anna?
The I is actually for the general information of the property.
Right.
So that doesn't give that, but we are creating, as we work with several different companies, so we are creating one that shows exact measurements. And then it also does augmented reality. So it gamifies and gives you opportunity to change those furniture layouts, and it creates a floor plan instantly. So that's coming in March.
But
So
definitely, yeah, Libor can add anything on this page if he wants to specify the height or the length or according to his customer specifications. The page is very dynamic that you could customize the information directed to the client, probably showing cars or vehicles in the area, and that they might want to see really how high is the ceiling.
I mean, there's that challenge of getting into the property and commencing with all of that, but it will be instantly updating in case you get new photos or event photos later on this year, which we hope for. Then we share this as a link, and the link always updates instantly when something is added. So there's no need to send it again. So this one actually for us is quite a good tool that we're looking at the floor plan and the whole layout of how those breakout rooms are fitted around. And as you said, Libor, they are on the same floor. So on the third floor, it's all for meetings space.
Well, you're absolutely right. Maybe I will start from another way, because as there are more Congress hotels in Prague that offers similar facilities. Of course, there, for example, Hilton is our competitor, but it's almost the same in this business in all of the European countries. I would like to focus on our, let's say, unique selling points. Of course, our venue is fully air conditioned. There is a wireless internet connection available, and so on and so on. But what differs us, what sets us apart from our competitors is, let's say, 3 points. It's flexibility, its compactness, and its accessibility. In that we are completely disabled. Of course, we are not the biggest. We are not the biggest Congress hotel in Prague, not even in the Czech Republic. But I can proudly say that when I add one small detail, that our hotel is the largest, completely barrier-free Congress hotel in the Central Europe. So, as you mentioned, we have everything on one floor, on the third Congress floor. You can see that in the middle there is a foyer. I know the floor area is about 2,000 square meters. We can place them up to 40 stands or use it as a catering area. There is also a cloakroom. There is also a Congress reception, which we primarily use as a registration desk. There is a Congress bar. There are toilets, and also there are elevators from the underground garages throughout the whole hotel. I mean, the reception, the third Congress floor, and up to the rooms.
I certainly admire that you have those points, Libor, especially on accessibility, and it's really important to highlight them. Today, with the pandemic, it's more, we have been emphasizing so often here during this visualizer visit sessions that accessibility, even is important things like how to place the face mask or the disinfectant in which locations are very important today. I would say that more important than ever. So for me, that's a really winning factor.
Definitely.
Okay.
And also here, because there's so much space, it's easier to, again, direct people. And you have really nice screens in front of these meeting rooms. So we can inform digitally all the participants about all the regulations and maybe the directions, give instructions in these screens. So that's really good.
Exactly.
I must say that even with those screens that you have on the wall, you would, for example, remind the participants social distancing protocols. So there are just so many things you can use using the visualizer visit, where to place in prominent areas those reminders for hybrid events. Very promising.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's well organized. Again, we can see that this is the clock room that you mentioned. It's a stylish one, and you can have enough staff so that it doesn't get crowded, avoiding the queues. So as we have that 1.5 meters.
Stuff I've already mentioned.
Yes, that 1.5 meter distance, is easily applied here.
Yes.
So again,
for VIP events, the location and the accessibility is important for security. I know that we have very high profile events in Central Europe that requires security teams to go ahead for the whole hotel to be closed for, let's say, the president of the USA coming to Central Europe. So this kind of presentation is really crucial. And on top of that, with the pandemic solutions, it's side by side becoming more important.
Yeah, I mean, we can save a lot, also having all those screens fitted in the foyer area, because that just means that we can avoid printing, which is also sustainable, more ecological option that we have the screens here available. So we can look at a lot of different details here. We can look at the lighting, the air conditioning, pillars, how to place our information for the events. All these high tables, I mean, we can obviously move them around and add furniture. So this gives a lot of information for planning stage.
I agree. So we have actually bedrooms and restaurants to look at. I think we probably should reserve.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, yes.
I think we checked only the main Congress Hall, as I mentioned. But we can just have a small look to our small breakout rooms. Maybe
we would like that.
Yes, we actually jumped into the Leo. We didn't really talk about it, but we did look at it. So are there some other smaller lounge areas or areas?
Just a few details. Because, maybe I've mentioned we are completely adaptable, and it's the question of our smaller breakout rooms. For example, maybe the floor plan could be useful for this point. No, not this one, but I think
yes, the other one. I mean, we have a lot of information
exactly.
that we can use here.
So you can see that we have 9 small breakout rooms on the third floor, except of the main hall. I mean Zenith, Meridian, and Nadir. And these small breakout rooms are very adaptable. So we are able to connect or divide 2 breakout rooms next to each other. Okay.
Definitely. And what I like about it is that it does have the square meters. So again, when we are planning,
you can always check the capacity chart or this plan.
Yes, but for our layout planning, we usually use a map like this. So it really gives us an idea of what size of a screen, what else can we fit into the room, how many people. So that square meter is really important tool for us. When we go to capacity chart, we can actually get the same information as a shortcut. However, we can calculate from the other, because we need to take consideration again with the social distancing. So that's why combining all this information and seeing also the type of furniture that you have and this schoolroom, I mean, the classroom style setup. So we see what kind of tables are being used. All of this is fantastic to have here.
All right.
And I certainly appreciate, this floor plans and capacity chats. And in the old days, we used to have a manual calculator online, meaning we calculate how many people can fit in. But we have different regulations in each country, even in countries in Central Europe. So I think we are guided by these capacity chats, and it's interactive, it's easy to use, it's accessible to our clients and to our different partners. And as the link is available to everyone right here in the chat, you may be able to check, just play around with it, really make sure that it's very nifty and very smooth, very digital. And I think that's what we need at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, it's good to look at the ambience also, how it changes in different areas. So what is the Benada Lounge used for? Is this a lunch area, or how do you use this during the events?
Well, this lounge can be used normally as a meeting space, but originally, before the reconstruction, it was a la carte restaurant. We had 2 a la carte restaurants, but after the reconstruction, we decided to keep only one of them. And we recreated this space to the meeting hall.
So you could effectively.
On the other hand, this lounge is not located on the 3rd floor. We have totally 29 meeting rooms in a hotel. So just 12 of them is located on the 3rd floor, and moreover, we have 12 conference suites. And this Benada Lounge on the 2nd floor.
Ah, yes.
This Benada Lounge is located on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, yes. So just because we're thinking again of the flow of the event and this COVID, regulations. I mean, we would like to move people also to areas where there's possibly more space for them to spread out, so we avoid the queues again. Exactly. So what is your largest option for lunch as a space? Because again, we need that space.
Well, our largest space for lunch is our buffet restaurant located on the 2nd floor. Not this one.
Veduta.
It's a Veduta lunch. Yeah, exactly. It's you can also see that it's already in the new design, because this restaurant is also after the reconstruction, and in this restaurant there is 530 seats. Okay,
well, perfect. So again, because we are not looking at more than 150 at the moment this year.
This space is primarily used for breakfast,
All right.
But it can be privatized for the lunch, right? Or
exactly.
Yes. So for this one, I would say again, because we are looking at around max, 150 people. The first live events are going ahead. So again, the size of the restaurant allows us to put that social distancing in place. So that's great. And then what other options do we have? I mean, you got some Congress bar as well. Let's just check that out, because it has a nice, I would say, promising name anyway for
Congress
events.
Bar sounds really lovely. Congress and bar combined is so nice to hear at the moment.
Exactly, like we do want that mingling to happen as soon as. So that's located on the meetings floor, as in 3rd floor, and it's right outside of the meeting space. So it doesn't really mean exactly, that we have a party here, but you can refresh.
Exactly.
So that's good, to see as well what the amenities are. I mean, there's a lot of really good spaces here. As you can see, I'm just doing a little 360 so everyone can orientate. There's a lot of daylight in the middle, so there are some windows on the ceiling. Is that correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Excellent.
And of course, your event planner might want to show us later in the same visualizer visit photos of a real event that has, for example, like highlights on the lighting and the positioning of the live band, for example, or some entertainment. That would be really nice for a customized presentation to a specific client.
Oh, we have noticed that as well, that when we have images of the previous events, it's easier for meeting planners to then visualize their own event with a similar ambience or with the setup. So yeah, it's definitely advisable to have more images of people. And even, they are from pre-COVID time. I mean, we are still booking for future. I mean, that's the life of our the nature of our job is really to look 12, 24 months ahead. So we do place those bookings, and then hopefully the events will commence now in a hybrid format, so we can scale up a little bit of higher on the attendee numbers, and really for the revenue management point of view, spread the cost as well.
This looks like a place where you could actually bring in a food truck, Libor. I saw in your social media that that's very popular now in your hotel, or that you are offering specialties from Czech Republic in a food truck. And I really start to get hungry when I saw these photos. Yeah. So I think really, customized and unique menu from your kitchen, your restaurant menu can be represented.
You're absolutely right, but this, let's say, kind of event has been already finished. We worked with food truck in the time of the first lockdown when the hotel was closed. So we focus on other services. It means restaurant and kitchen. But as the restaurant had to be closed, we open at least the food truck. So that was a possibility how we can, how we could stay in touch with at least with some of our local clients.
Definitely. Excellent. And food trucks, like you said, Sheila, they are super popular at events. So I don't think I've been to any event in the past, 24 months without having a food truck out or outside in an inner court or inside of the ballroom. So it's been coffee and those coffee bicycles. So this has become a trend in our industry to really innovate how that food is delivered to the participants. But it's exciting because visualization and they say half the experience is how things look. So
and that's true. I think if you remember, Anna, in our event for Helms Briscoe in Germany, and it is of course important to note that Czech Republic is famous for beer, right? And so you could have a beer truck instead of a food truck, or both at the same time. And that's really one of the highlight, one of the draws to bring perhaps young IT professionals on a congress in Prague and Czech Republic. It's really because, Finnish tourists actually go to Czech Republic just to, enjoy the weekend with beer. And I don't know if Libor is beer drinking, but definitely I have a lot of friends who enjoy to go to the Czech Republic just for a weekend of beer.
Definitely. And it's a huge part, that drink and food that we also miss from all these virtual events. So it's also an incentive for people to go when they know that they can experience a great culinaristic experiences. And here we're looking at some of the delicacies. When you talked about the beer, I remember actually in Berlin when we had that factory venue, for the event, where you were, we were there as a team, and the beer was actually in a bath. So they had taken just a bath in the middle of the meeting room, and it was filled with ice and with beer. So even that was a funny, like a really relaxing way of, changing the ambience.
Definitely, when meeting planners and event organizers choose a destination, they look at the possibilities of post-events, post-conference tours. And really, I think Czech Republic and Prague in particular has a large advantage in the sense that it's a very authentic and very good, familiar city. And we have a list of things to must do in Prague, and that's including your beautiful jazz music, Charles Bridge, the Alchemist, and just the general ambiance of the city.
Yes, definitely. I'm happy that. I totally agree.
In the interior.
We're really excited about Prague, that's for sure. So I think we're just so much waiting for it. I mentioned previously, if someone's been into several of our visits, visualizer visits, is that the last trip that I had for last year, I was really hoping that it would go ahead because it was a week in Prague, a tech event with over 1,000 people, and you know, flights and everything got cancelled, and now I have the voucher, the flights to Prague. So looking at these pictures is definitely like, okay, when can we go? So beautiful property, Libor. I mean, it's very modern in every way.
Yeah, the
Well, yeah,
colors are
you're
very
absolutely right. It's because the renovation, which we are already started and running now, you can see, or I can say that the reception lobby area and congress floor is after the reconstruction, and I think within, it's very difficult to say nowadays, but I hope within 2 years we will be completely finished with the renovation of all of our rooms. So,
yeah. So we might as well look at the rooms, how they look now. So they are still in its original form. I mean, there's a large bed here. I mean, this is, I think it's a double twin here.
well, as we are a Congress hotel, we have 2 beds in all of our rooms, but you can separate them or connect them as a double room or let's say twin room. I think we have 55 or around 50 permanent king size beds because of requests of a lot of clients, because they want to stay on a real king size bed, not just 2 beds connected together.
Yeah.
But this is a picture of standard room. This is the smallest room you can get in our hotel. The floor area is 21.5 square meters. So I would say it's a quite big room.
It is for standard, for sure. I mean, looking at
smaller.
Yeah, I mean, looking at, you have also, what's important now is the desk. You can fit the, you know, the business area, so forth. You know, you can have your remote office in this room. So I mean, it really is something that I think, you know, is gonna be the trend as well, that the rooms are built for business people, as you can see here, to just do their webinars as we do. I think I stayed in, I have to calculate, I stayed in 4 hotels last year doing these webinars. So every time I had to check, you know, is that Wi-Fi connection, you know, strong enough in the room, or do I need my dongle? And is there any, you know, like a blind spot?
There is a free Wi-Fi connection in all the rooms and also in all the public area of our hotel. So there,
yeah. So and it's a high speed. Yeah.
Yeah, high speed, of course.
I need to share this particular page to my delegates for, you know, in November 2021. How would I do that, Anna? I think that I want to direct their attention to this particular page specifically.
So we, first of all, this one is a link. So as you can see here on the, this is actually a link to this virtual site visit. So everyone can actually access it. It's a completely public, and you can all use it for the webinars as you like. And so here on the bottom right corner, there's a connectivity icon. And in the icon, you have 2 options here. Either you get this direct link. So what I do now is I'll zoom into this photo just to show, for example, what kind of, you know, furniture we have. I think usually I do actually zoom it just to see the sockets, you know, what type of, you know, sockets do we have. And then you can copy this link, and it's actually to the Zoom. It's this magnifying picture. So if I zoom out, the link changes, if you can see, because it's actually specifically, so especially when we're looking at the meeting and events room, and I want to show, let's say, the projector or screen, and I zoom in, the link here just keeps it exactly how I zoomed it in. So you just copy paste this link to this room to showcase, and you can access the rest of the presentation after that as well. So I can WhatsApp this, you know, I can put it in the Twitter, I can do it, you know, in any channel from here directly. So you can see 181 different channels or sources. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of these are included here. So I would just open whichever area and forward it that way.
Works for every page. That's amazing. I think this is one of my best feature that I like to use, especially my clients want, the Association of the Chamber of Commerce here in Helsinki. They want to embed the whole page or the whole photo to their website, which is an internal site, meaning that the members want to access exactly what kind of room are they getting for that particular amount of money. And so they really want to zero in on the amenities. And this can be very nifty and easy for us as meeting planners to just give the link and make sure that everyone is happy with the room they get.
Exactly. So like here, that's how we do it, because as you said, now it becomes even more important to market the event efficiently and online. So this allows you to get those best images and just, add them and, create all kinds of posts about the event and what type of, hotel room or hotel they're using. So yeah, I mean, before we used to have to go on the website and getting a worst quality image, copy paste and then asking the hotel to send those images. So it was a bit of a slower process.
Screenshots. And there is, of course, you could just easily, if there's something that's changed in the room, or if you want to set up a new fruit basket, you could take a photo and then make sure that the link stays the same, but the page has been updated. So that's like the beauty of it.
Exactly. Now, I mean, that's really making our life easier and faster as well to work and recommend this venue. So now we're in the presidential suite and we are looking at a lovely boardroom. So how many people can we fit into a meeting in this room?
Well, I think it could be up to 20 people. It very depends on setup or other equipment, but I think the presently suite, or I'm sure that the presently suite as a whole is big enough to accommodate, or not only accommodate, but for the event up to 20 delegates.
Beautiful. That has to be, one of the larger presidential suites also in Prague. Because we have looked at actually the competitors as well, and I didn't see.
I'm looking forward for the renovation of this room, because it's still the old design. I think I've already sent you the picture. That was some amateur picture made by my iPhone of an executive room after the renovation, but this is still the old design. So I hope this year we'll be able to provide you new pictures of the rooms in the new design.
And it's not still too dated, because I guess initially when it was designed, these neutral colors, they still apply. So that's actually, something quite nice. And I mean, are you going to maintain the jacuzzi that is going to stay? What are you going to change it? But of course, is that going to be a feature in the renovated room as well? That you keep the jacuzzi? Well, if you don't, that's okay, because nowadays the shower bath combinations are also quite relaxing as well. So showers have changed a lot in several years. I'm sure you have noticed that you always see the trend in real estate and I would say interior design from hotels, because that's what I like about also the MICE industry, that we get to see some very innovative ways, especially in the smaller rooms, how the design works, that will be applied to homes. Like we get good ideas for our own, habitations, what we can apply.
I especially enjoyed the idea that you're not using plastic bottles, by the way. I saw in the previous photos, and that's still like one of the important things that we would like to consider when we book our events on environmental and sustainability. A lot of our clients, especially from the Nordics, are very specific on that. And that's really great to see, even from these images, that that is also something that is practiced in your property. And so I think that we are having a few minutes for questions now, and before we make a summary. I definitely will like to highlight that we can show to our clients anytime using Visualizer Visit the presentation that we just have today, either the recording, or if you want to make a new presentation to a specific group of clients or meeting planners, you're quite free to do that. And of course, you can invite Libor and his very dynamic team to do the site visit with you.
Definitely. I mean, for more information, now you know to connect with Libor and ask for the rates. Also, you know, do the request for conference rooms. I mean, for later this year. And I mean,
there's actually a link, Anna, if I might just interrupt.
Sure.
There's a link there where you could contact Libor directly, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes, that's the request for proposal feature here.
Yeah.
So because he can send this onwards, you know, there's two ways to connect. I mean, one thing I need to also inform is that we are bringing out new technology by March, I mentioned earlier. So there's going to be some features which haven't been, you know, in these previous site visits, and really excited to showcase them. But as they are now in the development, you need to wait for a bit. But one of the features is also that is really great is you can change the language immediately here in the presentation. So it doesn't take, you know, it doesn't take any time to do that. And then we are already changing to the clients. So for example, if we're at the, unfortunately, the IMEX Frankfurt doesn't go out live, but if we are in the virtual meetings, one-on-one meetings at the, you know, the hosted buyer meetings or whichever at the IMEX online, whenever the meetings change, because there's about, you know, 20-minute cycles to the next meeting, speed meetings, you can just change the language accordingly. And when we enter the webinar meetings, for us is quite lovely that there is a presentation which is easy to follow and easy to look at, less text, of course, because we are happy to really visualize what we're getting. Text is something that, you know, we can always refer to later on, but our first impressions really make or break that, you know, selection process. So we basically go, nah, okay, that just doesn't fit with the image that we want. So that's why these really good quality 360s are really no way to go as well.
And let me just mention also what I love, Anna, like, you know, how many times you've been in an airplane or a bus where you actually can sell your services as meeting planner? The downloadable version of Visualizer Visit as an app on your phone that doesn't require internet or Wi-Fi, and you can make a presentation to the person sitting next to you immediately using Visualizer Visit. At the end of the journey, you can actually sell your event organizing services. So that's one of the features I love about this.
Oh, we are efficient, that's for sure. Any opportunity, you know, to rave about our favorite properties. So yeah, we definitely recommend a lot, you know, on the fly. Yeah, just spontaneously. So that's true. Now you just pull this link, you know. Actually, what I do is I Google. So I Google that 360 virtual site visit or 360 visualizer, and then the hotel name, and it either brings it up if they have it, or, you know, if it's not there, it's not there. So I just quickly do that if I gotta show this property.
That's true. I mean, the more you share, of course, the Visualizer Visit, the more prominent it is on the search engine mechanics. So as we can see, we've done Visualizer Visits in very, very excellent properties in Prague, Czech Republic. And we are almost ready to do a cluster citywide event, whether it's 2022 towards 2025. Our colleagues in the USA and around the world are booking already for those dates, for those years. And definitely something to look forward to. And that's something that keeps me really positive about our industry. And just to keep a parting note to our event organizers who are present today. So from me here in Espoo, I really enjoyed this visit. Thank you.
Glad you mentioned that, Sheila. Well, we definitely are looking forward to Venue Expo, which we're organizing again when we get the newest format, so updated visualizers. So everyone is actually currently updating the hygiene details. So we have them here as well. Whether it's in a video or PDF or so forth, we can add them into the site visit so that everything is in one place. So we get the capacity charts, the floor plans, the images, you know, all the wholesome information we need to make those decisions remotely. And then the hygiene standards and procedures, as you see here, it's venue specific. And we will just check, obviously, the government regulations as well. We are applying a lot of different ways into events to make them safer. And that's why it's good to kind of just match that plan with what the hotel already has. And here, you know, that's something that we have really developed, you know, further during this pandemic, is the information flow.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Libor, for your time, you know, and really, you know, telling us the details that we were really excited to hear about. And as you can see, we can't, you know, really control our excitement because we're just dreaming of getting there.
And yeah, I mean, as meeting planners, the hotel can be relaxed because we're so excited that we will be making the presentation on your behalf. And definitely we're going to have more of these presentations as we move on towards the COVID solutions.
I'd like to thank you both also. I'm very excited and very pleased that I have the possibility, or our hotel has the possibility to do this kind of virtual site inspections, at least in these bad days for us. I hope we will overcome this COVID pandemic situation as soon as possible, and maybe we'll be able to meet each other live.
No doubt.
Definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much for everybody in the panel, and also everybody who joined via Facebook Live, and those that came to the webinar, and the ones who are now watching this as a recording. Please welcome to come again on the Tuesday or Thursday sessions that we do at 11 o'clock Central European time. So you're always welcome. We will be changing destinations, but we can always return back to, if you tell us where you want to travel as a virtually next time. So we will take those you know, your favorites also in count, and we actually connect with venues and work together to update these presentations. So with Libor, you know, we will stay updated, and you will see the new renovated images, you know, later this year as well.
And for sure, we'll be there at hotel reopening, virtually, if not face to face.
Great, thank you so much. Have a good day. Cheers.
Keep safe. Thanks, Libor.
Bye bye. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
You too.
Cheers.